Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Mimi G has asked me to step in and record a video showing you all how to leave an opening along the upper edge of the DIY mask that she just recently created and uploaded to her YouTube channel. So if you would like to add an opening so that you can insert a filter into your mask, I'm going to be showing you how to do that in this video. So let's go ahead and review the supplies and get started sewing. Here are some of the supplies that I'm going to be using to make my DIY mask. For fabric, I'm going to be using 100% cotton for the fabric as well as for the lining. For the elastic, I have a 1/4 inch elastic and I have cut it to be 22 inches long. That length was recommended in Mimi G's video. This right here is the pattern that Mimi G created, and you can download it from the description box in her video. I did read in the comments that some of you were having trouble downloading the pattern, so I have gone ahead and marked out the measurements here. So let's review those now. I know this is a lot of lines and numbers, so bear with me. I'm going to review them all. You can see I have a little key here. The blue is for horizontal lines and the red is for vertical. So go ahead and grab yourself a ruler. And if you're unable to download the pattern, you can go ahead and just make lines that are 1 inch apart, going horizontal as well as vertical, but let's just do horizontal first. So from the top, measuring down 1 inch is 1 3/8 across. I moved down another inch, made another horizontal line, and that measures out to be 2 7/8. Measured down another inch, another horizontal line, and that measures 5 7/8. I came down another inch, measured across, 5 7/8. Another inch, horizontal line, 5 11/16. I measured down another inch, came across, and this is 5 5/16. Now from this last line to the edge of the pattern, that is a 1/4 inch, and that one measures out to be 5 1/4. So again, this section right here is just a 1/4 inch, and then the horizontal line for that is 5 1/4. So that is our horizontal lines. And for total, starting at the top, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and the last one for the end of the mask makes 8 horizontal lines that you should have going across. Now for our vertical lines, I started over here working my way this way since we already had a nice vertical line here. So for the edge of this pattern, go ahead and make you a vertical line, and that is 3 15/16. Now measuring in from the edge of the mask to the lining line, that is 1 1/8. I'm going to go ahead and make that line here so you all could see. So from here to here, that is 1 1/8 of an inch. So from this line here of your mask, you want to measure over 1 1/8 inch, and you're going to make a vertical line there, and that line measures 3 7/8. That's also the line for your lining. So this line from here is for your fashion fabric, and this line from here, as you can see, cut 2, is for your lining line, and that is at 3 7/8. Now from this line, I came over 1 inch. That's 4 inches. I came over another inch. That's 4 6/8. I came over another inch. That's 6 3/8. And from that line, I came over another inch, and that is 5 1/4. Now from here, you could just grab a ruler and just mark in your curve and connect your lines to create your mask. You can see here that there is a line going all the way across the mask for cut 2, that is of your fashion fabric. And then there's another line here that's going from the edge to this lining line, and that's what you would cut 2 of your lining fabric. So if you're unable to download it, you can go ahead and draft out your DIY mask pattern now. All right, after you have cut out your mask pieces out of your fabric, this is my fashion fabric, this is my lining, we're going to go ahead and stitch along this curve at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, after you have your curves sewn at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, you can go ahead and press your seams to one side. I've already pressed mine. All right, so now with the right sides facing, we're going to match up our seams and pin in place. Now along one side, it can be this side or this one, we're going to leave an opening about 2.5 inches wide. That way we'll be able to insert a filter. So I'm going to put a pin here. I'm going to grab my ruler and I'm just going to measure about 2.5 inches. Okay, so that takes me about here. And I'm just going to put a pin there. Now I'm going to pin the bottom half of the mask the same way, matching up the center seam. Now that we have it pinned, we can go to the sewing machine. We're going to stitch along the bottom edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Be sure to back stitch at the beginning and at the end. Same thing at the top. We're going to begin stitching here, back stitch at the beginning, stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way along the top. Once you get to that pin, make sure that you back stitch, cut your thread, leave this opening so that we can insert a filter. Begin stitching here, back stitch, and then stitch to the end and back stitch there. So let's go ahead and do our stitching. And again, the seam allowance is at a 1/4 inch. All right, now that we have it sewn, we can go ahead and flip it right side out. All right, once you have it flipped right side out, now we can go ahead and give everything a really good press. Now that you have given your mask a good press, along the edges here, I've gone ahead and I've just folded in 3/8 of an inch twice. So I folded in 3/8 of an inch and I pressed that, then I folded in again and I gave it another press. I did the same thing for this side, fold in 3/8 of an inch, fold in 3/8 of an inch again, give it a good press, and now we're going to go to the machine and we're just going to stitch close to this fold. So let's go to the machine now and go ahead and do our stitch. Now that we have stitched down along this inner fold, now we can go ahead and grab our elastic. Again, I'm using 1/4 inch wide elastic. You can see I've attached a safety pin to one end, and the length of this is 22 inches long. That is what was recommended again in Mimi G's video. So I'm just going to insert this through one end. And bring it around. And I'm going to bring it through this side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove my safety pin. And now I'm going to overlap my elastics. And using a zigzag stitch, I'm just going to secure them in place. All right, you can see here that I've just secured my elastic with a zigzag stitch. So I'm just going to move that portion into one of the casings here. All right, you've just completed your DIY mask, and we have an opening right up here along the upper edge that we can insert a filter into the mask. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope that the video was helpful. If you want to download this PDF pattern to make your own mask, that download is in Mimi G style video. I have her video link for you below in the description box. It will take you over to her channel for the DIY mask tutorial. And under that video, you'll be able to download this pattern to create your own DIY mask. Until next time, blessings everyone. Bye.